You're listening to The Stephen Tauriello Show, building a platform of liberty for people in search of truth with a dash of hope and a life worth living. The Stephen Tauriello Show. And now, here's Stephen.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show, the weekend edition, Spicy Sunday, Wacky Weekend. So there was a guy. This is incredible, man. I mean, what is it going to take for this country to have a town square? You know, I have a lot of hope in Elon. I still think the guy is a freaking hero for this country. I think he did great buying Twitter. And what he did exposing the Twitter files and all the corruption between the collusion and the government coordinating with Twitter to censor people's speech, I think he did great. But I think he's dropping the ball. I really do. So I got an article here from Revolver News. The guy hired to run Twitter's, quote, election safety censorship board thinks Elon Musk is a dipshit. Yeah. So Elon Musk, once a vocal presence on Twitter, has noticeably dialed it back since handing over control to his new management team. This team includes a CEO who also serves as a WEF chairperson and a left-leaning censorship chief and election safety czar, Aaron Rodriguez, who apparently thinks Elon Musk is a complete dipshit. So, man, there's a lot of tweets by Mike Benz. Mike Benz is great. He was the one that spotted that the Biden campaign using the alternate slate of electors in their war game strategy for the 2020 election. We did a show about that maybe a few weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I put it on TikTok, but it got pulled. I'm pretty sure, I think it's still up on YouTube. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. You got the censorship is just getting out of control. It's nobody's right to censor what they think is right or wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't people just say, like, I'm pretty sure, like, nobody wants porn on their platforms. Nobody wants faces of death stuff on their platforms. Like, I get there's like certain stuff you want to censor, but the hate speech thing, I mean, that's where you're getting into muddy waters, because anything could be considered hate speech depending on who you talk to. I mean, should hate speech be allowed? Yeah. Yeah, it should. Should you have some raging Nazi KKK member talking on the platform? Yeah, you should. That's free speech. I'm kind of an absolutist when it comes to that. But I think everybody's got limits. I mean, I don't think, like I said, morbid, gory, like the old school censorship. You guys remember back in the day, like, there was none of this censorship. The internet was like the wild, wild west, and everything was okay. Nobody was doing anything crazy. I mean, I think you drive people more crazy censoring them than you would just, block the bad stuff out. Pornography and gore. People getting their heads chopped off and stuff like that, I could see not having on your platform. But things like, I think the election was rigged, like that kind of stuff, like, you can't do that, man. It's impossible. And so I think Elon's really dropping the ball with this new management team he got in there. So, I mean, we're going to find out. The bad thing is are we going to have another repeat of 2020? It's like, I would rather find out who we're dealing with now before the election instead of waiting during the election and a major bombshell news story like the Hunter Biden laptop story from the New York Post gets censored. Like, I don't think we should wait until that time to figure out if Elon is really serious about this free speech stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing. The guy's the richest man in the world. He's apparently a genius. I like the dude. I think what he did with Twitter is, I mean, the guy's an American hero. But, I mean, man, why does he keep making these mistakes with these people? So if the name Aaron Roderick sounds familiar, it's because Revolver has covered his disgraced legacy before. So we all held, and that this is Revolver's opinion here, which I think is Darren Beatty. We all held high hopes for Twitter when Elon Musk stepped in and purchased the platform. While his intentions seemed good, with his heart was in the right place, he's quickly discovering that America may not be as free as he thought she was. When it comes down to it, the shots aren't being called by the Constitution, but by woke companies like Apple, Amazon, and Chase. Sadly, that's why Twitter isn't turning into the bastion of free speech we all hoped for, thanks to the crew who's taking over the helm. And one of the biggest standouts is Aaron Roderick, a flaming liberal who is now heading up censorship. Here's what Mike Benz, the founder of Foundation of Freedom Online, had to say about the double agent. He's working under a false banner of free speech, but his past posts reveal that he despises everything that genuine free speech stands for. What's truly concerning is that this double agent persona may enable him to continue this tactic for an extended period. It seems that conservatives are being lulled into a false sense of freedom, and that's concerning. Mike Benz, the executive director at the Foundation for Freedom Online, has cataloged Aaron's greatest hits on Twitter for some weeks now. He's friendly with all of the worst academic characters in the so-called mis, dis, and malinformation. And Mike's got some tweets here talking about Twitter's current censorship recruiter, Aaron Roderick, promotes the most scandalous censorship agency in the federal government, DHS's CISA. And he backs up CISA's head of mis, dis, and malinformation subcommittee, Kate Starbird. He's actively working against Musk's professed vision. Wait a minute, so do we really have a government censorship board? Like, what is this DHS's CISA? Like, are these people the CISA's head of mis, dis, and malinformation subcommittee? So do we really have a subcommittee controlling this stuff in the government? Like, I don't think it's a good idea to give censorship roles to people in government. I don't think there should be any kind of subcommittee or any kind of committee at all when it comes to censorship, and I certainly don't think that subcommittee should be held up by the federal government. I mean, did we not learn any lessons in 2020? This is what sometimes I can't stand about the people in the leadership roles in this country. It's like we can never learn our lesson. It's wild and it's bizarre. Like, we just went through a complete disaster in 2020 where censorship actually altered the outcome of an election. And then we're not going to learn any mistakes from that. We're just going to keep doing the same thing. I mean, my God, man. So here's another tweet by Mike Benz. Good God, he's retweeting Kate Starbird, the queen bee of all things censorship for Twitter, defending CISA government censorship. He follows both CCDH and CCDH's crooked CEO, Imran Hamed, the very disinfo shop Musk is suing. What? Well, Elon, dude, this guy's got to know, like, who these people are, right? I mean, is he pulling a Trump? Is he surrounding himself by people that are going to be stabbing him in the back? Look, man, I know the guy's a genius. I know he's the richest man in the world, but sometimes I swear, like, we could do better. Like, seriously, I think Elon would be better off, instead of hiring a CEO and a management team, just hand over the damn thing and just give it to 10 random people in a phone book. And I think you would probably have a better, I don't know, I think you'd have a better business model. I mean, it's pretty sad when you spend $54 or $55 billion on a social media platform, and in order for you to keep advertisers to make it profitable, you have to hire the same people. Like, are these people, like the CEO, what's her name? I can't even remember her name. I know she's part of the World Economic Forum. I know she's definitely, like, in the realm of the lefties. So is she the only person that can make your company profitable? Come on, man. What I thought Elon was going to do in the very beginning, this is crazy. This is what I thought he was going to do. Which, I mean, maybe he still might. I thought he was spending the $54 billion. I thought he was going to get Twitter on its feet, make it a neutral profitability, which means it really just pays for itself. Maybe a small skeleton crew, bringing in barely, I don't know, to where essentially it makes just enough to be self-sufficient, and then he was going to hand it over to the people. And the people just have free reign, essentially rediscovering the internet like we had back in the 90s and the early 2000s. But that's what I thought he was going to do, because it sounded like he was. He said that Twitter should be the town square, and where, there's no such thing as hate speech and all this stuff. But then, look, the prophets just got the best of him, and apparently, so I don't know, but there's some more to read here. I want to finish reading. Man, this Mike Benz goes off on this guy. So he says, sounds like a great team player, right? The kind of guy you would want in the foxhole right next to you. It's quite puzzling that Elon Musk, the wealthiest man on the planet, has someone on his team who openly disrespects him and his audience like this. Aaron Rodgers must be exceptional at his job for Elon to overlook such blatant contempt. Or could it be that Elon is shifting his focus away from the free speech debate to concentrate solely on profitability? Whatever the case, it doesn't appear that the situation at X is going to change anytime soon, even with new management. We're still dealing with the same dubious characters who are still hiding behind a new guise of so-called free speech. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. I don't know, man. What is it gonna take for the Americans to just have free speech? It's just like the Constitution. Your free speech isn't challenged with language that everyone agrees with. It's most important when it comes to speech that a lot of people don't agree with. That is the key moment for free speech to step in. So, for instance, the New York Post story with Hunter Biden, which we know now gave Joe Biden the 2020 election because they censored that laptop story. And man, going through all the records, going through all the footage, and going through all the weaponization subcommittees, the Twitter files with Matt Taibbi, it is shocking how well coordinated it was and how these people just slipped on a banana and did a perfect backflip. They really, really put it all on the line. And was there any accountability for anybody for interfering in our elections? And now, look what we have to deal with. The American people tried electing the right person in there, but yet the corporations like Twitter and the federal government colluding with one another cost the American people a lot of pain and misery. Now people are paying $4 for gas. Now people are going into debt, $1 trillion in credit card debt. We're in new wars. Trust me, I guarantee you, the Ukrainians wish that Twitter didn't collude with the FBI and the federal government to censor that Biden laptop story. I guarantee you millions of Americans wish that Twitter didn't collude with the federal government to block that Hunter Biden laptop story. What Twitter did by colluding with the government and the government coercing Twitter to ban certain speech, strictly their political opponents, speech they did not want to get out, is they interfered in the people's elections. And nobody's been held accountable. Yeah, sure, people got fired, but nobody's been arrested. Nobody's being charged with conspiracy to violate people's rights. Nobody's being charged with conspiracy to overthrow an election or to change the results of an election. This is why I said yesterday on yesterday's show, it's like the heroes are the villains and the villains are the heroes. We have everything backwards. So the people that actually did interfere in our elections, that actually altered the results of our elections, they're not held accountable. And in fact, they're just long gone. They just interfered in an election, got their preferred guy across the finish line, got a nice golden parachute off to sitting onto another board seat at probably Raytheon or even Facebook at another social media platform. And in some cases, they didn't even have to leave, like this Aaron Rodgers guy. He didn't even have to leave. He just stayed. It pisses me off that we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So what's going to happen is there's going to be an October surprise. It's going to be like audio tapes of Biden taking a bribe from some foreign country, since we know they exist. It's going to drop on October, and this guy, Aaron Rodgers, is going to censor it. He's going to censor it. He's going to collude with the federal government. The federal government's going to it's going to be a repeat of 2020. And what's going to happen? The American people are going to have a illegitimate election, another one. They're going to have an election with Twitter and the federal government's thumb on it, getting their preferred guy across the finish line, and this guy, Aaron Roderick, is just going to be able to walk away. Gets a golden parachute, a severance pay, and the damage is done, though. At least they got their guy across the finish line. This is when Democrats don't play, man. The left don't play. They're willing to make sacrifices. We sit and fight each other on the Republican side. We beat each other's asses. They sit there, they do what they got to do for their team. We're sitting here fighting each other in the mud with brass knuckles. It's, man, it's unfortunate. But maybe now with Mike Benz calling this out on Twitter, or X, I got to try and get into I don't know why he went with X. I mean, everything is X, I guess. It makes sense, but, I mean, I don't know. What do you call the tweets now? What do you call the messages? Posts? I don't know. I mean, they're not tweets anymore because it's not Twitter. Are they called X's? I don't know. But hopefully with Mike Benz calling this out, it's clear that Elon is seeing it. He's got to see this. I mean, one of this guy's tweets has got 68,000 views. So surely Elon has seen it by now. Hopefully does a little investigating and fires this guy, man. Just get rid of him. Hire me. I'll be your lead censorship board chief or whatever you want to call it. Hire me. I'm available 24/7. You can get a hold of me anytime. Get a hold of me anytime, Elon. I'll do it for you. And I won't even charge money. It's just unfortunate, man. I mean, who calls their boss a and still has a job? Like, I assure you, if I called my boss a I'm not going to be working there anymore. If I called my boss that I won't be coming in the next day. I sure in the hell won't be keeping my job. So we'll see. I don't know. This just happened in the last couple days, and Mike Benz has been onto this guy apparently from the beginning. He's got all kinds of screenshots of tweets. He's got screenshots of screenshots. This guy Mike Benz is great, man, when it comes to really digging down deep into the online stuff. Anything online, like anything that has to do with your phone in the palm of your hand, the sky's the limit. Like, you literally have a supercomputer in your hand, and this guy Mike Benz, he takes full advantage of that aspect. So that's really all I wanted to get on here and talk about. I was scrolling through. I just seen it just now, and I just figured I'd give my opinion about it. I think Elon should stick with the plan that I thought he was going to go with, and just hand Twitter over to the public. Give the world's biggest town square to the town. Give it to the people. I can't think of anything more noble than that. And maybe that's what he's going to do. But again, he's got to get it to where it's profitable. I mean, obviously right now it's not profitable. I think he said he's losing like $6 million a day or something like that on Twitter, which I don't, I'm not a multi-billionaire that runs multiple billion-dollar corporations. So I just don't see, how does a company lose $7 million a day? And he fired like 75% of his overhead. So I don't know. I mean, what, server rooms? Obviously you have the brick and mortar buildings. He likes people to be in person. Dude, Elon Musk is a hard ass. He don't play around. And that's why the federal government's suing him for not hiring asylum seekers. Is that not incredible? They're suing a private company. The DOJ is suing a private company. The Biden administration, essentially, is suing a private company for hiring only American citizens. Like, I thought that was the law. Like, this is where I tell you, like, we're in opposite world. The heroes are villains and villains are heroes. I thought a private company was supposed to hire American citizens, but now where they're supposed to hire asylum seekers, and if you don't, you get sued by the federal government. And not only sued, but they want any asylum seeker that applied for a position at X to get back pay. And we all know why the Biden administration is suing Elon Musk. It's because they took their little censorship tool away, their little propaganda tool. Now the Democrats can't use Twitter to spread their propaganda, to sway the minds of the public. Oh, and trust me, that pisses them off more than anything. By Elon buying Twitter, trust me, the Democrats, the DNC, all the propagandists and the fascists in the Democrat Party were sweating bullets. They did not want Elon to buy that company because they knew that this guy was going, first of all, uncover and expose all of their shenanigans, all their corruption and collusion with the federal government. I mean, without Elon, we would not know any of this, any of it. You actually had a revolving door at Twitter where government employees were leaving government to go work at Twitter, and then Twitter employees were leaving Twitter to go work for the government. It was wild stuff, man. They had their own Slack channel to where, you know, if they ban my account, I have no way of contacting Twitter to just explain to them, you know, what I'm trying to do, to ask them personally, like, why did you ban my account? You can't call anybody. There's no one, they don't have like a customer service. It doesn't work that way. However, whenever it's the federal government trying to interfere in elections, oh yeah, it works that way. They had a direct channel to the people at the top echelons of Twitter to censor whoever they wanted. That's the kind of stuff Elon exposed when he bought Twitter. And so now the Democrats are pissed and they're getting revenge. This is how petty and corrupt and just absolutely totalitarian this Biden administration is. You take our propaganda tool away from us, we're going to come after you with the full weight and force of the Department of Justice. We have unlimited resources, unlimited money to persecute you, and we don't care if you're the richest man in the world. We will drain you. We will take you down. I mean, this government is clearly out of control. This government is way, way off the rails. I mean, when you're getting vengeance on private companies because they took your propaganda tool away, and so now that's going to impact your elections. I mean, it's clear. I mean, folks, the only reason why Joe Biden won was because they censored the Hunter Biden laptop story. We know that now for a fact. The polls are out. I mean, you can't be for a fact because you don't know. But how many polls were done saying that if people knew about the Hunter Biden laptop story, if they knew about the Biden family corruption, they wouldn't have voted for Biden? Now, it didn't say they would vote for Trump. It just said they wouldn't vote for Biden. But voting for Trump wasn't the question. The question was, would you have voted for Biden if you had known about the Hunter Biden laptop story? What was it, 13%? I think one said 13, one said 17%. That's a big, big swing. And if just a small fraction, less than 1% of those people went to Donald Trump, he would have won. So you're talking about a federal government, an administration that is pissed off because they can't sway elections anymore using propaganda on Twitter. This administration is way, way off the chain, out of control. And then so now, since Elon bought it, and it's clear and obvious Elon's not going to be voting for Joe Biden. It's clear and obvious that he's not for censorship like the Democrats. They want vengeance. They want to take him down. This will teach you to go against the federal government. This will teach you to go against the Biden administration. We don't care if you're the richest corporation. We don't care if you're the richest man. We will take your ass out. That's what they're sending. That's the message. This government, man, is becoming a totalitarian, dystopian nightmare. Like straight out of George Orwell's 1984. But it's okay. They still got Facebook. So imagine that. Imagine all the collusion and corruption that got exposed on Twitter. I guarantee you Facebook was probably 10 times worse. 10 times. And we'll never know. Look, Mark Zuckerberg injected $500 million into our elections strategically. Like he injected $500,000 in our elections knowing what the purpose was. The purpose was to get Joe Biden elected. So regardless of, whatever people may think, oh, he didn't actually do that. He put the money in a PAC so that they could secure the elections because of COVID, and to put ballot drop boxes, to give the money to counties that didn't have the money for extra ballot drop boxes. But yeah, when you look at where they put the drop boxes, they put the drop boxes in like heavy blue areas. They literally put more drop boxes in Democrat areas than Republican areas. And that's just one of the tactics they used. This is what this guy did. So if you think it was bad on Twitter, man, I guarantee you Facebook was 10 times worse. And maybe we'll know one day. Maybe. I don't know if Facebook could be... Facebook is publicly traded. Elon could buy Facebook. I remember this guy was talking about buying YouTube. He was talking about buying Google. Could you imagine buying YouTube? Man. But now you got Rumble. I think Rumble is awesome, and it's definitely going places for sure. It's, again, I said this not that long ago. Rumble's got way better technology. Rumble's got a way better algorithm. It doesn't have an algorithm. The way that it works is literally by views, by clicks, and their incentive, their pay incentive is awesome once they get it rocking and rolling. The only bad thing is, and this is something that will have to come in time, is their reach. They don't have as big of a reach as YouTube. They just don't. Like, YouTube's got its own TV channel. YouTube it's huge. We all know that, but it's also been around for 20 years too. So, Rumble's got to take some time. It's going to take time, but I think in the end, Rumble's going to be better. Their upload technology is way better as far as how you upload videos and all of it. The whole process is just better, I think, than YouTube. And it's got a lot more potential, and it's just going to take time, and it's going to get there. So I would rather Rumble, I would rather it be Rumble than YouTube. But YouTube, I don't see it being I don't see it being a benefit for Elon to buy YouTube. I just don't. YouTube, believe it or not, it just depends on your reach. I guarantee they're shadow banning me. I guarantee, I almost know for a fact they are, because I've had people leave me comments saying that I'm being shadow banned. So, I don't know how true it is. I have no way of finding out. I'm sure there is a way you can find out, but I don't know. And what's crazy about the stuff that they're censoring is it ends up being true down the road. And this is why it's bad to censor people. This is why censorship is bad, because what you think may be false or misinformation or disinformation may be the truth 6 or 7 months down the road. And then you just censored this person when they were actually right and you were wrong. That is a big dilemma we're facing in this country right now, is what if everything that's being done as far as the government being rogue and out of control, the government forcing this climate change stuff, these social media platforms forcing censorship, all the stuff they're pushing, and how they're moving the Overton window. What if everything they're doing is wrong? Obviously it is, because you have millions of Americans that see it. I think everything they're doing is wrong. I do. I think in the end they're going to be wrong. So I don't know. But I'm kind of curious about this Elon Musk debacle with the suing SpaceX for not hiring asylees. I think that's disgusting. I think it's a way overreach. But again, the process is the punishment, folks. This is what Stalin did back in the Soviet Union. It was not they were not looking for convictions. The process was the punishment. If they could break people down and get them to admit by just stacking court fees, and the process is the punishment. They were the purpose of Stalin to bring in his victims was to turn them into villains. Destroy their character, destroy their fortunes, or destroy their property, whatever it was, and then put a bullet in their head the next day. So it's like, or eventually do it. But this is exactly what we're watching from the Biden administration. They're using the process as a punishment tool. They're using the process to send a message. They're not just the same thing they're doing to Trump and all these Republicans, all these political prisoners in January 6th, or all the Trump supporters that are being indicted right now. I don't know how many is it up to now? You have the 16 in Michigan, you have the 19 in Georgia. I mean, come on, man. Over 30 people are indicted. And you're going to sit there and tell me that we don't have a police state? Of course we do. The Biden administration is the police state. You're watching the rise of the new Soviet Union. It's like Americanized it's a Americanized Soviet Union is what it is. So the process is the punishment. So they'll cost Elon $1 billion because the federal government, the DOJ, has unlimited money. Think about it. It's our money. They're using taxpayer dollars to essentially destroy our country, destroy a rule of law, abuse the justice system, everything. It's all being done with our taxpayers. So, for instance, with this coordinated effort to interfere in our elections, the 2024 elections, by indicting Trump and all these investigations, indicting these Republicans, all of it is to interfere in the election. That is it. The process is the punishment. Okay, they're not looking for convictions, even though they would like it. They know they're most likely not going to get it, and it's going to get appealed in the Supreme Court. But that's not the point. The point is to interfere in the election. That is what they're trying to do. And the bad thing is everything they're charging Donald Trump for, they could be charged for. So Donald Trump is being charged for conspiracy to overthrow an election, conspiracy to interfere in an election, and conspiracy to violate people's rights. Well, what do I always say on the show, folks? Whatever they accuse their opponents of doing, they themselves are actually doing. So this is a common tactic for fascists and totalitarians and communists. So what they are indicting Donald Trump for, they themselves should actually be indicted for interfering in our elections, because that's what they're doing. And the worst part about it is they're using our money to do it. That is the most disgusting part to me. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, so we're essentially paying for the destruction of our own democracy. All this destruction that's happening throughout our country, our rule of law, justice system, democracy, our elections, all of it's being paid with our money. When you think about it that way, it's sick. It's like, man, we are in like bizarro world. And so this is why I say the first rule of order from Congress needs to use the Holman rule and defund Jack Smith, defund all of this, defund the Department of Justice. That's what I say. You're going to defund. They have control of the purse. You need to defund Jack Smith in this hiatus that he's on because he's using taxpayer money to interfere in our elections. And then when it's all said and done, then the American people should file a lawsuit against Jack Smith, file a lawsuit against Big Fannie Willis, and file a lawsuit against who else is doing it? Fannie Willis, Jack Smith, Alvin Bragg. And the American people need to file a class action lawsuit once we have standing and sue their asses for interfering in our elections. And every single one of these people that coordinated and colluded with one another to manage these indictments, to bring up this huge election interference scheme, all need to be indicted and charged with conspiracy to violate people's rights, their voting rights. Also, they need to be charged with conspiracy to commit election interference, conspiracy to overturn an election or to interfere in an election, the RICO Act, the racketeering. They need to be charged exactly what they're charging Donald Trump and these Republicans for. They themselves need to be charged with. They could be charged with because they're doing the exact same thing. But look, this is the country the Democrats have given us. This is the country Democrats want for you and me. This is the country Democrats want for us. A third world, Stalinist, banana republic, fascist, totalitarian regime. Police state regime. That is what they want. We'll wrap them all up there in one word. And really what it all leads to is communism. Communism is the end goal of totalitarianism, authoritarianism, dictatorship, fascism, socialism. All of it eventually leads to communism. And that, I guess, apparently is what they want. They just can't figure out what route they want to take to get there. But they know that's what they want their end goal to be. And they're doing a number on this place, that's for sure. So like I said, after the election, the American people need to get together, file a class action lawsuit, and Jack Smith, Big Fannie Willis, Alvin Bragg, and anyone else that was involved in coordinating this election interference scheme against the American people need to sue. A class action lawsuit. Yep, that's what I say. And so we'll see what happens. But also, the federal government is investigating Elon for a glass house that he's building in Houston. Like, really, dude? So it's clear and obvious why they hate Elon. They hate him because he took away their propaganda machine. And so they're trying to teach him a lesson. They are getting vengeance on Elon Musk. And it's just sad that we have a government that operates this way. We are living in, like, George Orwell's 1984. Like, we are watching our government be weaponized as a personal, like brass knuckles for Joe Biden. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Joe Biden's behind all this stuff. He's just as capable of indicting his political opponents as anybody else. Now, granted, he can't talk or walk, so it may be somebody like Obama, John Podesta, whoever's in the background doing this stuff. But Joe Biden, you have to remember, he was the one sitting in that meeting with Barack Obama and a couple of whoever else and suggested the Logan Act for General Flynn to get General Flynn locked up. You remember that? Which I just found out he's had to spend $7 million defending himself in federal court in that whole debacle where he ended up getting a pardon from Donald Trump. They targeted General Flynn because he wasn't one of them. He was going up against the establishment like Donald Trump. So unfortunately, just like Michael Cohen, I think, Manafort. Manafort's another one. So anybody in Trump's orbit is at risk of being targeted by the federal government. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a police state. Sorry. It resembles more the Soviet Union than it does America. So that is the America Democrats want for you. So we'll see what happens with these Elon investigations and all that crap. Also, you heard that Eminem sent Vivek Ramaswamy a cease and desist order for using his music. You guys know Vivek Ramaswamy did like a Eminem rap song, which I can't even find. I can't even find it. So I don't know if YouTube scrubbed all the videos of him doing it because of that cease and desist order. I don't know how that works. But I couldn't find the rap. I was going to play it for you. I was always curious about this because everyone's always messing with him about this rap, but apparently he sounded pretty good. So I don't know. But anyways, Eminem, Marshall Mathers, the leftist Democrat lib he is, which is completely, it's super unfortunate. It really is. Eminem is like one of those things that's so mind-blowing to me because all of his music is always talking about censorship. You guys remember that? He did a whole album ragging on censorship and how the government was censoring him. I remember this. Eminem was the rapper we grew up with. Like, I remember as kids, we bought his first album and my buddy Scott left it in his dad's truck because we just turned 16. We just got our license. And like we all listened to Eminem cruising around in my buddy's dad's truck. But when we got out, we left his dad's truck there. We went over my house and left the Eminem CD in there. And I can't remember if it was Curtain Call. I can't remember which one it was. Anyways, so he comes, so we're hanging out at my house. His dad comes barreling down the driveway. We're like, oh man, what is it? Because his dad never came over my house. So we knew something was up. And then we're all out there hanging out. His dad gets out of the truck and just holds the CD up in the air. We're like, oh, shit. And sure enough, it was the Eminem CD. But the music, they were really church-going people, lovely, awesome people, man. I can't say that enough. His parents gave me probably the best upbringing that I could ask for. And so, it's nothing against them. It was just the time, it was just who they were, very church-going people, very lovely people. But it was, Eminem was hardcore. Like some of the stuff he was talking about in his rap songs, I mean, he was just dissing the way, the words he would use. The government actually was trying to censor specifically Eminem. And so he went on this one-man hiatus with his album about the government censoring him. Well, here it is. You know, he went up against the machine, and now he is the machine because he just endorsed, well, he didn't endorse officially the Biden-Harris campaign, but he allowed the Biden-Harris campaign to license his songs for their, to license his songs to use during the campaign. And so it's clear and obvious who he supports. He puts a cease and desist order for Vivek Ramaswamy not being able to use his music, and then license his music to the Biden-Harris campaign. So here it is. Eminem is a full-fledged Democrat. He supports this leftist ideology, this complete destruction of our country. So it's just like the Rage Against the Machine band, where the Rage Against the Machine was talking about, obviously the band is all anti-government, anti-establishment this, anti-establishment that, and then they turn out and support Joe Biden. Like, what, dude? Like, the Rage Against the Machine turns into raging for the machine? That's exactly what Eminem's doing. These people, it's incredible that they can't see. They can't see because they're in their little rich elite bubble. Just like all the other news anchors, just like all the MSNBC anchors, just like all the people that are sitting high in their ivory tower, spitting down on the American people while we're sitting here fighting for breadcrumbs in the mud pits. You know, it's like Eminem was dissing on the government. The government was coming after him. And then here it is. Now he's supporting the government. He's supporting the Biden administration. He supports this administration, the same administration that is weaponizing the DOJ, that weaponized Twitter to censor people. So he is supporting the system that he claimed he hated back in the 2000s. So Eminem is supporting the machine now. The same machine that was going after him and his music, he now supports. I'm sorry, but a vote for a Democrat, supporting a Democrat, you support censorship because the Democrat Party is the party of censorship. So how is it that Eminem is now supporting the party of censorship? It's truly incredible. It's like the guy climbed up the ladder and just pulled it up after him. It's like, fend for yourself, guys, suckers. I don't know, man. I mean, he still makes awesome music. The guy's a rap genius. I mean, he's definitely going down as one of the best rappers. I just can't believe the guy is a full-fledged lib Democrat. He's like a leftist, dude. Like, I can't believe he is supporting the machine that is censoring the people. The same machine that was censoring him. And he supports it now, just like Rage Against the Machine, where they come out and do a free show for the Biden campaign, for the Biden administration, or for the Biden campaign. I mean, it's truly incredible, man. The reason why these people can't see it is because they're not down in the pits anymore. They're up in their ivory towers looking down on everybody. But what's worse is I wish these people would just stay out of it. Don't let Biden-Harris use your music. Just let the American people do what they got to do. But by you using your platform to influence your listeners to vote for this crap doesn't help anybody. I mean, you don't have to suffer. What do you think? Eminem's suffering from high gas prices? Do you think he suffers from high grocery prices? I mean, come on. The guy's a multi-millionaire over and over again. Of course he doesn't care. But he sure in the hell supports the administration that censors Americans, that are trying to put the truth out there. He supports the administration that is creating high inflation. He supports the administration that are creating high gas prices and high grocery prices. He supports the administration that is being weaponized against the American people. He supports the administration that is coordinating with social media platforms to censor people. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. The guy was just creating music about the establishment machine, and now he supports the establishment machine. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. I actually didn't have any show notes. I was just talking off the top of my head. I really wanted to talk about this Elon Musk, this Musk story, and this Mike Benz. Elon Musk has got a clean house, dude. You got a clean house. Don't let these people ruin another election, man. Do not let these people censor Americans, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, I don't know how you're going to make Twitter profitable, but this isn't the way, man. Just stick with your gut. Go with the free speech. Stick with that mission, man. You are a hero to the American people if you just stick to that mission. You will live to be a legend. Just stick with it. If you side with the establishment, if you side with the machine, and you allow these people to stay in your company and censor people again to alter another election, you won't be a legend. You'll be remembered for something very, very different. But you do have an opportunity to be remembered by the American people, the guy that helped give the people back their First Amendment right. So it seems to me like an easy decision to make. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave all these articles. I'm going to leave the Revolver News article in my podcast description. Go ahead and read it. You can read all the tweets by Aaron Rodrigues and who he supports and who he follows. He's a big, big pro-censorship. The guy is not the right guy we need in there. Elon, if you hear this, dude, find somebody else. Trust me, dude, find somebody else. 10 random people out of a phone book would be better off than putting these censorship monsters in there again. These free speech tyrants in your free speech board, whatever you want to call it. So if you get this message, dude, find other people. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for tuning in. I want you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to be sending this out. Have a great Labor Day. Don't party too hard, and don't do anything I wouldn't do without me. And if you do, name it after me. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. You guys have a good day. Have a great weekend. God bless you, and God bless America. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.